Have you ever wondered, is there actually a downside to becoming a psychic medium? Well, there is. And in this video, I've meticulously taken me time to put down 10. I've actually even been very professional. I've even wrote it so I know exactly what I'm going to be talking about. We're going to be staying on topic. Well, I say that spirit, like you're not staying on topic, but I'm going to try my best to stay on topic. However, I've wrote down the top 10 things that I think are downsides. Depending on the way you look at it, it might not be a downside to yourself. So remember that these are my top 10. You might have completely different ones. You might even look at them and go, well, actually, that's not downside. I don't mind that, Jordan. That being said, I do think it's important that this is brought forward to each and every one of you before you come along on your mediumship journey. Because some of these points I wish I had have known at the beginning of my journey, or at least I wish somebody had told me so I could be mentally, physically prepared for it. If you're new to the channel, my name is Psychic Medium Jordan Coburn, and I can prove with evidence of the afterlife. I've helped thousands of people already on this earth plane to once again be able to reach out and contact their loved ones in spirit from the understandings and the teachings, and now it's your turn. Each and every one of you can become great mediums. In here at Help Heal Serve, we can give you the very foundations to forge your own unique understanding. Not to mention we have the loving and supporting Help Heal Serve family. Also a big massive shout out to each and every one of the channel members. You are absolutely slaying it. Thank you to everyone who likes, comments, shares and subscribes. And thank you to everyone who watches the content and continues to propel the message of Help Heal Serve far and wide across this earth plane, because we've got many of people that we need to help, many of people that are in desperate need of healing. This is going to be a little bit more of a doom and gloom sort of video. A lot of the videos that we do on the channel, they've got, well, this is educational, but it's probably not going to be what you want to hear. So I would recommend each and every one of you to watch this video to the very end. I know it's going to be a long one, as all of my videos are. However, these 10 points may become stumbling blocks in your mediumship journey. And by seeing them here and seeing them highlighted, they're not going to be a stumbling block, because you're going to be mentally prepared for it. You are going to know how to overcome the hurdle. My first, and probably the most important thing to know about mediumship, is you're going to see dead people. And when I say dead people, I mean that in the physical sense, I mean that in the mental sense. You are going to see dead people. Now, if you are somebody who is very squirmish and you don't like that, well, unfortunately, newsflash, when you are working with energy and you are, for example, if I'm bringing forward evidence of Alice, and Alice passed away at the young age of 30-year-olds in a motor car accident, then Alice will show me her dead, yes, only if it brings evidence. However, if the loved one in front of me is saying, oh, well, okay, you've got Alice, how did she die? How else would Alice show me? Seriously, she could say a car accident, but it's a lot quicker and easier for the spirit world to show you the car accident. You're going to see people at the scene. You're going to see who was in the car with Alice. They may have tragically passed as well. This is where, as a medium, you will go, Alice has shown me. Alice was the driver of the vehicle, and in the passenger seat she had Sarah. Sarah was at the age of 22. It looked like they were on a girls' night out. She's now shown me that it was her birthday. You get what I'm saying? This is how the evidence will come forward. But to a lot of people, this isn't even something you've even thought about. I know, I bet there's a lot of you going, get back, get back, get back. I don't want to see dead people. The problem is when you become a medium, Spirit 11, when you become a medium, you don't just speak to the dead, you see the dead. And whilst a lot of the time when we're speaking about seeing the dead, we are using the ability of clairvoyance, that's not always the case. A lot of you believe that you will see the spirit world in the materialistic plane, and you'll see them going about their daily jobs, the daily routines that they used to do when they were on this planet. Yeah, cool concept, not the way that it works, unfortunately. What you will see is glimpses into the spirit realm from what they want to see you to see on an evidential standpoint. If it is paramount for you as a person to see the spirit world in a specific way, they will come forward and show you. They will show you what you need to see. That being said, remember, when it comes to seeing dead people, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've seen them from the age of 6. I've seen them using clairvoyance, which is where you visually see. And for those of you who don't know what clairvoyance is, we've got a video on the channel. We're doing a full psychic medium tutorial. We're going to be giving you each and every one of the steps that you need. It's going to be over 200 videos on YouTube. It's all free. Go and watch it. It's in the playlist on this channel if you haven't seen it. We're also going to be covering all of the different senses. It's the How to Become a Psychic Medium series that we're running. But a lot of you will believe that the only method of seeing the spirit world is going to be visual representations of the soul, of the spirit. The problem is that isn't just the way you are going to see them. And when you are working in the mediumistic capacity, you hardly ever see them using clairvoyance. It's very, very rare that you will see the spirit world through clairvoyance during a reading because it holds little value in some cases. For example, do you think it's more informative to you as a person because remember you are the one receiving the information? The spirit world have already got that information packaged. It's already in. Think of it like cyberspace. Think of it like the internet. So that's a great one. Think of it like the internet. The internet's all around us now. You can't see it. We know it's there because we can use it on our mobile phones. Well, for a lot of you, this is how it's going to work with the spirit world. That information's already there. The spirit world are already feeding it to you. But just like you will know by using a mobile phone if the data's on, if you've got signal, if you've got internet, this is the human form. The human part of you is going to pick up on those signals that are just flying around in cyberspace, energy, and you are going to be able to decode that information. However, do you think it holds more value to the spirit world in those moments to tell you evidential information to pass over to the loved one or to show you one or two things? Well, we all know what's going to happen in that scenario. The spirit world are going to bloody talk that living you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to tell you everything that you need to know. Any good medium can prove this. The spirit world are chatterboxes. However, they will also use the ability of claircognizance. This is where you will see the spirit world in the way that they are showing you. Claircognizance is a deep known. It's a deep connected with oneness. This is where the spirit world, the source, not the sauce that you put on your food either. Spirit always laugh when I say that. I love that one. It's like my little one-liner. I should get it on me merch now. Not the sauce that you put on food. But the spirit world, during a reading, will use your clair abilities that are most prevalent. Clairvoyance is a minuscule. Seriously, a lot of you can see the spirit world, but during a mediumistic reading, you are going to get that. I guarantee you are going to get that information coming through. The information coming through by, I just repeated myself there, spirit. Like, why did you repeat yourself? You're going to get the information by using your claircognizant abilities. Therefore, you are going to see the spirit world, but not with the eyes, my friend. It's going to be in your mind. You're going to see. And before anyone says, well, how do you not know that? It's just your brain and there's something wrong with you. Well, the problem is to each and every one of you, right, who believe that people like myself who can prove with evidence. Now, I'm not putting myself in the category of all of these other lunatics on it. Listen, there are people who genuinely need help, mental help. There are also people who are scammers. There are also people who don't care about mankind. And then there is the category like myself, who creates these videos to help the everyday person to be able to help themselves. I make nothing from it. I stand to make nothing from this little bit of a venture that I've got with Spirit. Sorry, I thought I had bloody hit something on my computer there. Back on track. Whilst, yes, I stand to make nothing from this, in the long term, it's what I love to do. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about being able to help the everyday person to be able to help themselves. That's part of who I am. As an empath, I've tell all of you all of the time, I get my satisfaction from helping each and every one of you to be able to spiritually grow. Coming back to the claircognizant abilities, because there's going to be a lot of you who go, well, what if I'm not ready to see the spirit world? if you're not ready to see the spirit world, you shouldn't be doing readings. Like, seriously, because the problem is mediumship is beautiful, it's magical, but it can also, if you don't fully understand the beast and you don't know how to harness it, it's going to lead you down a garden path. It's going to become so difficult for you. It's going to become very scary for you very, very quick, because you've been conditioned by mankind to believe that there's no such thing as spirits. You've been conditioned to believe that there is no such thing as energy. There's no such... Listen, you're going to have people from a scientific background, right, who are going to tell you all of these different things and how this person's wrong and that person's wrong and they don't know what they're talking about. But to each and every one of you who follow this channel, don't argue it. Let your actions speak louder than words. Let your evidence be that beacon of light in the darkened abyss of mankind's unfortunate ideologies. Because that's exactly what it is. Listen, we're up against mankind. Mankind, they have these notions, these theories, and they have to be right. The problem is and I love it when this happens. I love it when I get a skeptic and I do a reading for them, or I show them the spirit world firsthand, or I channel energy through them and I help them to see the spirit world. And I just love the look on the face when they come back to me and they're like, oh my God, they're crying and they can't believe what's happened, because for the entirety of their life, they've put themselves into the box that society has told them to go in. Never once have they stepped out of it. Never once have they fought for themselves. Never once shall they take a look into the spirit world or even give the spirit world the benefit of a doubt. But then something in their mind changes. Again, I say it all the time. I love the brain. It's such a beautiful mechanic. I love how it functions. I love how it can generate fear from not understanding things. It just fascinates us. But the point that I'm trying to make is very, very simple. The brain is very powerful at what it does. If you don't have an understanding and you are scared of seeing spirits, I would actively encourage each and every one of you to stop. Really, don't push this until you are mentally strong, you are mentally prepared, and you have a good understanding. You'll see loads of other people who are, they say that they see these things and they say that they work with this energy and they say that they work, and you look at them and it doesn't take you that long to see that they're a fraud. It doesn't take you that long to see that they're a scammer. It doesn't take you that long to see they've got something mentally wrong up there. But seeing the spirit world using claircognizance is going to be a big problem to a lot of you, and most people won't tell you this. Most people might not even know this, to be quite frank with you. But when you start working in a mediumistic capacity, you will start to see dead people. For example, somebody has taken their life. You need to know how they took their life. You need to know where they were when they took their life. You need to know if there was anything in the room. For example, somebody may have taken their own life. They couldn't take it anymore. And they might have took loads of different medicines. You will see them on their bed with all the medicines around them, because that's evidence. You need to be able to pass this over. This is going to help the person who you are dealing with be able to know that not only are you not a fraudster, but you are connecting with their loved one. Their loved one is coming through you in those moments. There's another individual may have died in a horrific accident. You, my friend, are now going to be reliving that. One thing that I will say to a lot of you, whilst I'm kind of painting it in a bit of a negative light, and I think it's only right we're doing so, there's also mechanisms that the spirit world put in place. During those moments, do you see all of these different things? Yes, you do. You will see more than maybe as a soldier who suffered with PTSD. You are going to see more. Listen, you're going to see dead people on a daily basis. When you get to my level and you get to my connection and you get to where I work with the spirit world, you see dead people on a daily basis. It becomes normal to you. You become desensitized to it. And whilst one could argue that, some people have endured difficulties within this life and tragedies within this life, and that means that they're going to be worse off than what you want. No, I'm sorry, I don't accept that. Just because you've seen things in the materialistic and you've lived them, believe me, when you are a medium, you are reliving those moments. You see people taking their last breath. You see who was in the room. You see how they died. You know what they were thinking at the time of their death. All of these energies are transferred into you so that you can be an effective medium. The difference is some people don't know how to be able to channel that energy. Some people do. That is the big difference. A lot of people just see mediumship as like a gimmick. They just see it as a little bit of a party trick. The problem is when it's done right and when you channel the spirit world correctly, it's effectively, think of it like if you've ever seen a onesie, right? In the United Kingdom, we've got these onesies where you put them on, normally got like little fluffy bunny ears and all of these different things, and you zip them up at the front. And all you see is just a little face. If you think of a Teletubby, Spirit has seen a Teletubby. If you think of a Teletubby, you just see the little face and then that's it. You don't see anything else. Well, this is what it's like for you. You still have your identity. You still have who you are. But as you are working with the spirit world, that identity is encumbered by the spirit world. You become to wear the spirit world. You become to wear the energy. Therefore, your clair-empathic abilities, your clair-sentient abilities, your clair-cognizant, your clairvoyance, your clair-aliens, clair-gustance. There's many more clairs as well, to be quite frank with you, but we're not going to go down that route. All of these different senses become into a heightened state of alertness where they are ready and active to be able to be used in any given moment. That's why when you're given a reading, a lot of the time when you are given that reading, you will start to cry. And it's not because you as a person are sad in those moments or somebody said something nasty to you. It's because the spirit world are coming through. Their emotions, you're feeling their emotions because they're connecting with their loved one. They've tried for so long. And now you're in that position. They're coming through you and you're going to feel it whether you're ready or not, baby. That's the way that this works. For a lot of you who don't know, I've been on live streams and I've been doing videos. Sorry, the energy gets really strong when I speak about past events or the spirit will come around. I've done videos and live streams where you will see the spirit will come through. Like for me, right, I'm a different breed. Each and every one of you who follow these ideologies, who follow these key core principles of help, heal, serve, you are a different breed. You are no longer conforming to mankind. You are setting the standards. You are raising that bar. I mean, to be completely honest with you, it was pretty low to start with. So we've only got to be authentic to have raised the bar. But you are all a new breed of medium. And what you will see is with that comes a new found responsibility. Each and every one of you needs to ensure that you wear this with pride. You make sure that you are the best version of yourself. When you are wearing the spirit world, allow them to come through. Allow them to feed off you. And that sounds horrible. It sounds negative, but it doesn't mean to sound it like that. They are going to use your senses. Allow it. Embrace it. You don't need to be scared. Each and every one of you have found this channel for a reason. You no longer should you be scared. We've got the full mediumship tutorial coming to the channel, and you'll see it'll be the biggest one on YouTube. We are going to make sure that there is no other course like it on this earth plane, because any person who wants to learn mediumship now can. The paywalls of mankind have been obliterated. The ideologies of mankind have been squashed. Now is the time for the everyday person to understand that there is such thing as a spirit world, and as and when they want, they can connect on a mediumistic level. Any place, anywhere, any circumstance. It's beautiful, it's magical, and you're a part of the journey. But coming back to the point before that I was mentioning about when I've been doing live streams, and I mean, let's be completely honest, you look at me, right, and I'm just, I'm a normal person, but I don't look the sort of person who would cry or get upset, or I mean that's a bit of a cliche because everyone's a human and everyone does, but I've seen me, a 34-year-old man, on camera cry, right? On camera. And it's not for the clicks and the likes. It's not for that at all. It's because I wear this spirit world. I've seen me, right? I'll tell you a little bit of a story, actually, right? Story time with Jordan. We'll love them. Spirit, though. There was this person that I'm going to speak about still keeps in contact with us. So they don't mind is saying the story, and I think it's a beautiful story to share with each and every one of you. I was doing a live stream, and straight away, the way that it works with me is first of all, I'm here to help each and every one of you to be able to help yourself. I'm not here to wipe people's backsides. I'm not here to just do readings after reading. Listen, that's been done for centuries. Look at the horrible state of affairs mankind are in, because there's a dependency for other people. If you want a reading, what do? You go to someone else. No, that stops now. You do it yourself. That is the mindset that you need to have. That is the mindset that the populace needs to strive for. By doing that, you're not going to be looking at other people to pay them for service that you could do for yourself. Stop trying to cheat. Do this for yourself. It's more magical. It's more special. You can do it. However, this person had come onto the live stream. And to say they were getting on my nerves was an understatement. But Spirit told us to leave them on. And this is very, very rare. For those of you who don't know, the Spirit world will actively, if somebody comes on to the classes, they'll say, right, get rid of them. If somebody comes on and straight away, Spirit world don't want them here, Spirit world will remove them. They'll just tell us straight away, get rid of them. They're not what you need on the channel. So this person come on and they were annoying us. And Spirit were like, no, don't. We're telling you, don't do it, Jordan. And I was like, why? Why? What is the purpose of this person being here? And they were asking loads of silly questions. And there's never a silly question, but there is when there is no logic to the question. You know, I always recommend each and every one of you to ask a question to me during the lives. And I'm not saying that your question is going to be silly, but what I'm saying is have a tangible, question. Ask questions related to the topics we're speaking about. Ask questions based on information that you want to know. Don't just come onto a live stream and just randomly say the spirit world's not there and this and this and this and this and this. With no, it's one of those things. It's like I say, mankind are a full victim to this. Everyone's entitled to an opinion based on nothing. And that's where the problem lies. It's all right to have an opinion, but at least have an educated opinion. Take a little bit of a notion, look at the facts, look at the bigger picture. Don't just think because you have the right to speak or you have the right to an opinion, you have to speak. Sometimes you don't have to speak. Sometimes you can just assess a situation and go, hang on, I'm going to use my common sense. Okay, right. Well, anyway, that's my little bit of a rant over. And this person come onto the live, and I was getting a little bit annoyed with Spirit, if I'm honest with you, because I wanted to kick them off, and every time I went to kick them off, they were like, no, leave them. And the questions kept coming through. The questions were like, the spirit world's not real. And sometimes you've got to be very careful, because sometimes there's going to be like bots and like basically little trolls that sit in the bedrooms like that, and they're like behind loads of computer screens, drinking, popping loads of crisps and whatever they do. I don't know how they sustain their life. But you do get people like that, and you can't let them get to you. Just like any aspect of your life, you can't let other people influence your decisions. You can't let other people influence some of the things that you want to do. And in the back of my mind, I was like, this is a troll. This person is really grating on me. They have been sent to completely annoy me. And when somebody starts disrupting me or disrupting the class, because remember, when there's somebody asking a genuine question, it takes me as a person about 20 minutes to get to the answer. And it's not because I'm slow before anyone says. It's the polar opposite. I like to do things right. I like to not just explain you how to do something. I like to give you the blueprints. So when that time comes around again, you as a person can explain it to somebody else, but in your own little way, in your own little magical way. And that's why everyone who comes onto this channel, what I don't want you to do is to think that you are learning my ideologies and help you serve ethos because you have to do it my way. That's not how this works. Yes, there are going to be certain aspects to it that I would like you to retain, the help, the heal and the serve part, and also some of the traits along the way where you are going to be doing it with the right intent. But then after that, listen, I'm just helping you to get where you need to be. Sometimes for me to be able to help yourself, it's not by just saying, oh, well, this is the answer. You have to believe it. It's about me helping you to understand how I've come to that answer with the spirit world and how you can then make it your core foundation. So when somebody asks you the question, you can answer in it whatever manner you want, and you can give the clarity, the direction and the purpose that that individual will need, so on, so on, so on. So let's just say this person was really starting to grate on me. And it got to the point where even some of the people in the chat were saying, look, Jordan's doing something, like he's talking, stop trying to interrupt, stop trying to be rude. And we've got a lovely little family like that. Like literally, I've never once needed moderators or anything like that on any of my channels because literally, like, we don't beat around the bush, we don't mess around. Somebody doesn't serve well, bang, gone. I don't even waste time or energy. I don't have it to waste. But it was starting to annoy me even more because I could see loads of the family members were having to say, look, let him do what he's doing. Let him explain what he's explaining. You've asked him a question. He's now explaining it. You're not even listening to the explanation. You're now coming with another one. You're now, and it was really starting to bug us. Because Spirit were like, no, let them. And straight away, I mean, I get emotional now thinking about it. Straight away, I heard his son's voice say, it's my dad. And even now, I remember the energy coming through. And in those moments, I realised that I had to take a back step. And it was strange because in me taking a back step, it meant I had to kind of swallow my own pride in their moments. I realised that there was something bigger going on in those moments. This person wasn't a troll. This person had a loved one who was wanting to speak to them. So it transpires anyway that he had lost his son. And he asked us the question, could I connect to him? And I said straight away, he is here. And he asked for the name. I told him the name. And then his son told him he had to stop the drink. And then I think it must have hit a nerve because his demeanour, his attitude completely changed. And I started crying. And I knew in those moments, through the power of the internet, that this individual was getting the healing that they needed. Which is a really good, it's amazing. It's amazing to be part of. It's amazing to sense. It's amazing to see firsthand. And the person who I was speaking with apologised straight away and messaged us after the live stream. Big chapter, big essay. In fact, because they were actually going to be taking their own life. So, yeah, it can get quite emotional pretty quick. But as you can see, mediumship, when it's done correct, and when it's done with the right ideologies, the right understanding, you can change people's lives. So anyway, let's come over to the next point. So the next thing that we're going to mention is going to be the emotional exhaustion. A lot of you are going to fall victim to this, and it's not because the spirit world are going to take your energy, because there is an exchange that takes place, but it's not an exchange that you've been led to believe. A lot of people believe that the exchange, when it takes place, is the spirit world are taking your energy and you're taking their energy. It's You've got to understand the spirit world don't need your energy. They don't need your energy. Fun fact as well, and you might think I sound a little bit brutal when I say this, but they don't need you. They really don't. They can go to any person. It's you who is actively choosing to work with them. And I don't mean any offense. So if there's, I don't want you to think, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that, John, because I want to work with them. The point I'm trying to make is I've said it on many different videos, you are just. You've got to remember that you are just. By understanding that you are just at the very beginning of this journey, you're going to realize very, very quick, that your ego is going to play a key, critical role in whether you succeed in mediumship or whether you fail in mediumship. You don't want an ego. Like seriously, none of you want an ego. You'll see, you don't have to look very far, and you'll see mediums. TikTok is rife for it. Absolutely. It makes my skin crawl the amount of scammery that goes on that platform. The amount of, you would have seen them where they're giving have you got a male in spirit? Have you got a female in spirit? And the person's obviously going to have one of them. Like, what? Why are you asking them? Why are you not telling them? Where's the clarity, direction, and purpose in you asking the question? You don't need to ask questions. Good mediums don't ask questions. I'll tell you what you need to know. And that's when you will be like, oh my God, how did you know that? Oh my God, only you could have known that. That's what a medium does. Not these ones who, oh, well, you must be wrong. The spirit world had taught me this. And the person's like, well, I don't know. I don't have a clue about what you're talking about. Do you really think that this spirit world are going to give a medium information? Give a medium information if it's not relevant? Definitely not. We know that the medium's at fault in those moments. However, the ego part of them doesn't let them accept it. That's why none of you who watch this channel, none of you will have an ego when you come into mediumship. And if you do have an ego, it will be so knuckled down to the point of non-existence because you know you are just. You know that you are just a human being living out your earthly existence. You know that you are just. You have chosen to work with the spirit world. You haven't been gifted. You haven't been anointed. You haven't been chosen by the gods themselves. You aren't. We don't need that. That doesn't serve us because that then makes your ego get bigger. And we don't want your ego to be bigger. We need it to be small. But a lot of you are going to struggle with the ego side of things and also the mental exhaustion. Remember, the energy part of spirit. Spirit's already there. They don't need your energy. However, your understandings will determine what you actually believe. Do they need your energy? Are they going to... A lot of people, I've had this argument with people before. People are like, the spirit worlds are making me sick. Shut the hell up. Shut the front door. What are you talking about? How are the spirit world and energy making you sick? Well, they're taking on the energy during readings. Right, stop there, because you obviously don't know what you're talking about. The spirit world don't need your energy. They are energy in abundance. It's everywhere. They don't need your energy. What happens is you remember like when we mentioned about the phone. When the phone and the internet, cyberspace all around us, all that's happening is when you are working with spirit, you are receiving information and you are sending information. The sending the information is going to be the intent, the requesting of a specific piece of information. The receiving the information is going to be the information coded by the spirit world. And when I say coded, it's not like loads of zeros and ones like what you would imagine on a computer. But it's going to come to you as a coded message. And then your extrasensory perceptions, your clair abilities are going to decipher that code through whatever clair sense and be able to give you that information. But along that way, people fall victim to believing that the spirit world are making them sick. I'm going to let you in on a little secret to any one of you who think this has happened, to any one of you who think this is possible. It's not. What is possible, though, is your own wants, needs, and desires to not maintain your vessel, the vessel being you. You have to maintain your energy. For example, let's just give you a little bit of a look here, right? it's a bit of a bad example. Well, no, it's not actually. Spirit just said you've got a bottle on the bed. This bottle, I've done it on many different videos. I do apologise to any one of you who've seen this before. But this bottle, when it's full, represents you when you wake up in the morning. When you've had a good sleep. Let's just say when you've had a good sleep. The water inside this bottle is your energy. Look at how much energy you've got. Ah, it's lovely. However, by the end of the day, by the time you've went shopping, by the time you've done the kids' food, by the time you've took the dogs for a walk, by the time you've done this, by the time you've watched this video and smash that like button, because yes, the spirit world are watching. I'm joking. This is, you shouldn't say that. But by the time you've done everything, look where your water is now. Look where your energy is now. Just doing the everyday things that you need to do has taken your energy reserves to that. And that's bad. That's really, really bad. Now why don't we throw into the mix doing a little bit of a mediumship reading? Well, I think you can see where we're going with this. Yeah? It's not the mediumship readings. It's you not being able to contain your own energy. It's you not being able to make sure that your health comes first. Spirit world are making you sick. You choose to do readings. You are the one who, remember, like I said at the beginning of this, Spirit world will go to any person on this planet. Any person, because they can. You're not chosen, you're not gifted, you're not anointed. The spirit world will go to any living being and they can give information. It's down to that individual whether to decode it, to understand it, to be able to bring it forth. Because all mediums are individuals who have refined their clear senses, their extrasensory abilities. That's all a medium is. It's just somebody who says, hey ho, guess what? I've refined my abilities, like every one of you have, but I've refined mine. So I'm now going to decode this information and give it back in evidence form. That's all a medium is. Yeah. So remember, the spirit world don't make you sick. They certainly don't make you poorly. Honestly, it really grinds me out because when somebody says that the spirit world is making them poorly, immediately, that shows me their lack of understanding when it comes to energy. And normally these sorts of people who say it are people who are in churches, they're in spiritualist schools, or they're in these, and they think that they just know everything. And unfortunately, they really, really don't. The next thing that I'm going to come to is going to be skepticism and judgment from others. I get it, right? Coming back to mankind that have got to have their own opinion. They've got to have the voice heard. That's fair enough. A lot of people don't care about you, your journey, your life, what you want to achieve, how you want to help people. They couldn't care less about that. All they want to do is to belittle you, to suppress you. Mankind are very good at suppressing you. That's literally, you look at the ideologies of man. There's not one ideology that is there to help you to succeed. Even manifestation. A lot of you would have heard manifestation and be like, manifestation is the answer, it's the key, it was given to us, manifestation's what we do. No, it's not. Manifestation isn't there to help you to get to where you need to be. It's there as another suppression tactic. It's there to make you believe that you have to think about something to achieve it. You don't do that. You do it. It's not about thinking about doing something. It's about actually taking action and doing it by going out and striving for perfection and achieving your goals. It's not about sitting, meditating and praying and welcoming the notions and welcoming the universe into your world. That doesn't get you nowhere. Meditation, all of these different things, isn't going to answer your problems. You have to get off your backside. You have to work hard. You have to strive for perfection. And then you're going to get there. Right? So any one of you, like I say, I know I really, really despise some of mankind's notions because I see so many people manifesting their dreams. Manifesting it. You're not manifesting nothing. All you're doing is just wasting time. You don't get this time back. You don't get time to waste. Stop chasing dreams. Go out and make things happen. I'm not saying, and by the way, Spirit are like, oh, you shouldn't say that. I don't mean don't make your dreams possible. What I'm saying is just make sure that you are taking the reasonable and the correct, appropriate action to get them to where you need to be. Manifesting it isn't going to make it happen. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who sell you spells and they'll sell you these different trinkets and these different gemstones that are going to make your world different. The reality of that is these people are exploiting your insecurities. They're exploiting you as a person because you don't know how to overcome the hurdle. Fun fact, coming back on point, mankind suppression tactics. You are being sold ideologies. It's a cash cow. It's a scheme that's never ever going to end. You're always going to have mankind. Whilst there are understandings that are there to suppress mankind, whilst there are people who don't have understandings at all, then you are always going to have this problem. However, you're not, because you found us. In each and every one of you who are a new breed of medium, you are not going to need gemstones. You're not going to need crystals. You're not going to need sage to cleanse your room, because you know it's all useless. You know it's all irrelevant. Each and every aspect of protection. And if you're new to the channel and you might not understand what I'm getting at there, we've got a full video on spiritual protection on this platform. You have to protect from poor understandings and bad teachings, not the spirit world or the realms. Unfortunately, this planet is saturated in an abundance with misunderstandings. That's one thing that you're guaranteed. Two things that you're guaranteed in life. One, you're going to die, and two, mankind are going to suppress you. They're going to have ideologies that won't allow you to be able to succeed in life. That's where the spirit will come in. That's where the realms come in, because they will help you. They're unbiased about you. They don't care about the mistakes that you've made. They don't care about what you want to do in life. They don't care. They just want to see you succeed. Right, the next thing, by the way, I said at the beginning, I've wrote everything down. I've got it on my computer. So if you see me little eyes going, yeah, it's not because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to stay on track. I'm trying to keep it. I mean, this video is going to be a long one, so I do apologize. We're already at 43 minutes and I'm only at number 3. And it's 10. Spirit have just said speed it up. Okay. The next thing I'm going to come to is going to be your boundaries. It's very easy when you start connecting mediumistically with the spirit world to just want more. However, there's something that you need to realize, and there's something that you need to understand for more. You are in control of this journey. You are in control of your vessel. The spirit world can't possess you. The spirit world don't need to possess you. Yes, the spirit world will come into your body, and yes, you will wear the spirit world, but they don't need your vessel. They don't need it. When it comes to boundaries, we need to be mindful that whilst it's amazing and whilst it's fascinating and whilst it's everything and more than what you would imagine it to be working with the spirit world, you need to know when you're working with the spirit world and when it's just your own mind. These are going to be, this is probably 90%, even mediums who are self-acclaimed mediums, or they've got titles, continental medium and all of these different things. First of all, if you need to put something along them lines in your name, then there's something seriously wrong with your ego. It's not a show. It's not a game of who's the best. It's about just helping people. But you see all of these different people who have it in their names. And one of the things that you've got to realize, all of these people, well, that's a bit unfair, Spirosi. Not all of them, but the majority of them, they'll have boundaries. They'll know, or they may not know, when they are working with spirit. That's how you can tell a good medium. A good medium is somebody who can switch to working with the spirit world. And when I say switch, I'm going to go a little bit more into it. It's not technically a switch. But a good medium knows when it's of their own mind and knows when it's spirit. We've actually got a full video on this on the channel, so don't worry about that. You'll see it. It's is it me or spirit or something like that. But there's a lot of people who don't know the difference. There is a lot of people who get so caught up in the spirit side of it and the mediumship side of it, they don't realize it's about you refining yourself as a person. They don't do any self-development. To any one of you who are wanting to become a medium, you would see at the start of the course that we'll have here at LPL Serve that the biggest part of the mediumship journey, I think it was about 3 or 4 videos where we worked on you as a person. That is more important than mediumship. By understanding yourself as a person, it's going to propel you. It's going to be the driving force of your mediumship journey. It is going to help you through the troubling times. When you think that you are failing, you are going to remember who you are. You are going to remember that you have limitless potential. You are going to succeed beyond all odds. Boundaries is something that you need to really take serious when it comes into mediumship. You need to know, like, for example, I'll give you my boundaries. Well, to be fair, mine are the worst boundaries that you can ever, because spirit can come through me at any time. Literally any time. Seriously. So I'm not going to give you me as an example, because really I'm a bit of a hypocrite, because you shouldn't do what I do. And it's not because it's bad for you. It's not because it's just, I can do it. Not because I'm special. Not because I'm different to you. Just because I've done it for this long. To me, it's normal. For you at the beginning, coming into this, in refining your senses, then we need to know when it's of spirit and when it's of your own mind. You won't know that at the beginning. For me, now I know when it's spirit and I know when it's Jordan. It's literally, it's the end of there. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. But at the beginning, it was still difficult for me. And this is where you've got to be very strict with yourself. I would recommend to each and every one of you to set ground rules. For example, from 9 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock in the morning, you are working with spirit. You are ready to receive from the spirit world. Anything that you hear, when you think of spirit and you hear something during that time, then accept it. If you think of spirit later on in the day and it's not that time that you've agreed, then you don't accept it. You just ignore it. You don't respond to it. You don't listen to it. Spirit world will learn very, very quick when you are receiving. Remember, they need you to be refined for them. Therefore, they pay close attention to when you are going to speak, when you're not going to speak. It's no point them saying something to you to ask you to speak on their behalf if you aren't going to say it. Therefore, they watch you closely. They know you better than you know yourself. Don't forget, they work with your soul. The soul knows you more than you know yourself. Therefore, they will refine you as a person. They will get you to where you need to be so that you can speak. However, you, my friend, this is where a lot of people don't realize, you call the shots, not the spirit world. Spirit world will work with anyone. They want to work with everyone. You call the shots. It's on your terms. Think of the spirit world being an employer. If you went to start a new job and you could only work certain hours and you could only do a specific role, what would you do? What would your natural instinct be? You would tell your employer. You'd be, well, actually, I can only work these hours. From this hour to this hour, that's all I can do. Well, actually, I've got a bad back. I can't do that role. But what I can do is I can do this. You negotiate. That's what you do with spirit. And I know it sounds crazy and I know it sounds mad, but it bloody works. It works, mark my words. And it also gives you the conditioning of the mind to know that you are in control here, because you are in control. That's, again, I know it might sound crazy. You don't have to say it out loud. You don't have to sit in your bedroom and go, all right, spirit, from this time. You don't have to do it like that. You don't have to make it look as crazy and as mad and as balmy. Just simply think it. Spirit world, hear it. Write it. Spirit world, sometimes it's good for people to actually write it down and then burn it. Obviously in a safe place to do it, so don't just do it in your bloody sitting room and then say Jordan from Help Me Serve told you to do it, because I didn't. And to the YouTube that's watching, I've just said that's a bad idea. But You could take it to somewhere like a beach where it's safe to do so, in an environment that's not going to be damaged. And just light it and watch as it burns. Just do things to know that you are in control. That's where a lot of people fail. A lot of people fail because they think that the spirit world are in control. They're not. It's down to you. That's the human part of you wanting to blame something else. Oh, well, it's spirit that's doing this. It's spirit. It's not. It's you. You are receiving. You are picking up. You need to know when it is you or when it is of spirit. Right, let's come over to the next thing. A lot of the times, we're going to come over to energetic overload. This sounds a little bit worse than what it actually is. But when I'm speaking of an energetic overload, what I'm actually talking about and what I'm referring to here is each and every one of you think of around me an auric space. An auric space. Technically it is an auric space, but I'm referring to the auric field. All around me, I have a low frequency energy that radiates from the beating heart. This effectively forms you can think of it like the ozone layer of planet Earth. It keeps all of the negativity out, not in a spiritual sense, but it keeps all of the negative auras, all of the negative energies away. Not energies like monsters, because there's no such thing. But what will happen is, a lot of the time, when you start working mediumistic, this auric space becomes not vulnerable, but energies start to seep through. This, for some people, can be very draining. A lot of people who start going through a spiritual awakening or even just start working mediumistically, what you'll find is, in the first instance, you will start to become very tired. That's not because the spirit world are making you sick. We've spoken about that. But what you'll find is you as a person, your sleep patterns will change. Randomly, out of the blue, loads of things for yourself. You'll start getting tired, fatigued. A lot of the times, you won't feel yourself in some cases. And this is because your auric field is starting to welcome in new energies. You, through your intent, through the power of your own mind, are now lowering your defenses. You're becoming comfortable with the idea that there are a spirit world. The spirit world are now drawing close. All of these protective layers that you've got all of around you, you're effectively just peeling them away. The spirit world are now starting to impede. Different energies are starting to impede. This is why a lot of the time it will become very frustrating, very tiring. But it's one of those things where you've got to understand you can't control this. Spirit are being very blunt when they say you can't control this. When you start working with us and when you start working alongside of any energy for that matter, it's a normal reaction that takes place within the human form for your defenses to start dropping down. Immediately, people will automatically assume that there's something wrong within them as a person. There's something wrong within who they are. Normally, on your immune system or things like that, but it's not. It's because of the shock that the auric field is going through. It's because of the shock that it's going through. Sometimes it just jump through. If I speak in the third person, it's just because of jumping through. Right. So I've mentioned that there. What have I got next? Yeah, so the next one I'm going to bring your attention to is scammers. I despise scammers. I really do. I think they're heartless. I think there's no place. Well, I'm not going to say what I was going to say there because it's really not my place to say, and I'll probably get struck off YouTube. But I believe scammers, there should be a special place for scammers to go when they depart the materialistic. We all know there's no such thing as heaven, there's no such thing as hell. However, if there was such a place as hell, I believe they deserve a first-class ticket. I mean, I don't know how or why the human brain would allow such practices to take place, but you've got to be mindful, right? You might be that 1% of people who follow this channel because you have the right intent. You want to help mankind. You want to change mankind. You want to give them everything that they need. But when you come into this, you kind of unfortunately get tarnished with the same brush. If there's one scammer in mediumship, well, guess what? Every medium's a scammer. However, it's crazy the way that mankind work. I get it, right? I get it, because what people don't understand and what some people can't do for themselves, they don't naturally believe anyone else should be able to do. It's an ego kind of thing. It's like a dominance thing. If you can't do it, I must be able to do it. And if I can't do it, then no one can do it. It's an arrogance, spirit of shouting, arrogance. It's more arrogance than anything, to be quite fair, when it comes to mankind, because you will have people who can do things like we can all sing, we can all talk, we can all sing. Doesn't mean we're very good at singing, does it? Like if I start singing, yeah, you'd be like, bloody hell, Joe, and stick to mediumship. But it's still, let's not take it away, I can still sing. There's going to be many other people out there who can't sing, and they're very good at singing. This is the same when it comes into scammers in mediumship. There are some people who can do mediumship, and there are some people who say they can do mediumship, and it's not mediumship. Be prepared, because especially if you're following the ideologies of Help Heal Serve, we aren't the normal meta. We're here to break and smash through the stereotyping of mankind. We're here to abolish any paywalls that mankind put up. We're here to put this mess right. That being said, along the way, unfortunately, my friends, family members, we're not here to be liked. We're not here to conform. We're not here to... I've said it on all of these different videos. We've got mainstream schools who've asked us not to follow through with some of our practices, or we're going to get into trouble. Practices being showing people the exploitation tactics of these schools, showing them how Reiki and all these different classes that they're selling, all these different chakra alignments and all these different courses that they're selling, how it's all fake. We've been asked not to do it. We've been asked not. Do I look like the sort of person that gives a damn about what these people think? No. I mean, the energies that I work with, we don't tolerate nonsense. These individuals, these practitioners, these schools, in due course, they will be outed. It's as simple as that. I keep all of me email chains. I keep all of me everything. I've got an audit trail for everything that I do. We're not stupid. And all these people will be, all these people who are exploiting, they will be revealed to mankind. So yeah, a little bit of a message to you. Right, the next thing that we're going to mention. So on the scams, don't expect mankind to go, oh, Julia, you're an amazing, you're a world-class medium and blah, 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 blah. Expect mankind to be rude. Expect mankind to be harsh. You've got to be tough-skinned. Again, look at the sort of individuals who are out there giving mediumship a bad name. People have got a right to not believe mediumship, but you let your evidence speak for itself. You let your actions speak louder than words. You let the message of Help Heal Serve be the light at the end of some people's tunnels. That's what each and every one of you are being trained for. The next thing that I'm going to say is quite a bit controversial, to be quite honest with you, right? Because depending on the person, it's going to be relevant and might not be relevant. To me personally, I find it difficult in relationships. And why is that? Right, well, first of all, because I love my own company. Like, seriously, I really don't care for other people's problems. And I know that sounds really horrible, right? But what you've got to understand is with mediumship and with understanding my own space and understanding me as a person, I know what I like. I don't need to have people around to feel comfortable. I'm literally always with the spirit world. Like, there's not a day that goes by where the spirit world don't talk to us, or we don't think about ideas, or we don't do something. Fun fact, I wasn't even going to be making this video, and then on the drive home, they were like, should we do a video tonight? What about this topic? And I was like, yeah, well, let's just do it. And that's the way it is. However, also, I find it a little bit of a curse. not a curse in a bad way, like you find a chest of gold and that's it, you've been cursed, and when the sun comes up, you turn into a vampire or something. Not that sort of curse, spirit laughing, but more of a lot of people, especially when you come into relationships, right? There's been a lot of people who have been going to go into a relationship with, and then immediately it becomes very prevalent, very obvious to start asking questions. And I get it, right? I get it. It's intriguing to most, and a lot of people want answers from their loved ones. But to me as a person, I'm very wise. I'm very, very... and a lot of the times, I think it ends relationships because a relationship's a two-way commitment. It's a two-way street, same as working with mediumship. However, when you enter into a relationship when you are a medium, or you work with the spirit world that other people want to do, it brings in a little bit of a problem because it becomes more of a tutoring relationship rather than it being just a normal... I mean, you don't have a normal life. I don't have a normal life. But instead of having a normal relationship where it's just like, oh, you know, like what you've been doing today, or this, or, you know, it's immediately, oh, if my loved one's got anything to say to us, oh, what's my granddad Rick's wanting to tell us? And it's just like, what the effing hell? Like, seriously, this is not normal. Like, I'm either your tutor or I'm in a relationship with you. What the hell is going on? And I think it's definitely something you should be aware of, because I've found my mindset change to the point where now I'm like, it makes us feel physically sick when instead of people wanting to get to know you as a person, they want to know what they can get out of you as a person. To me, straight away, and I know a lot of you might be thinking, well, maybe it's just being nice, maybe it's just want to take a little bit, but no, come on, like, there's... I get it, right? Maybe sometimes people are just wanting to be curious sometimes, but I don't see it that way. I see it as just a one way. It's just people trying to get something from you, and that's mankind in the purest and rawest of form. They just want things from you. And so, again, as well, like, so for myself, I'm not a performing monkey. I don't jump through hoops for you, for no one. I literally do what I do because I want to do it. And the amount of people who will say, in fact, actually, I'll tell you a story, right? I went to get one of me licenses for my fork truck. And there was a guy there, the guy who was, you know, he was like typical, wanted to be Jack the Lad. And I get what I do isn't for the everyday person, fully get that. But this lad wanted to be the kind of the class clown, so to speak. You get them everywhere you go. You've got to pity them. You don't entertain them. You just pity them. You know, your life's so bad. How old are you and you still want to be liked by people? I just don't understand it. But then, as the time went on, it went from being intrigued from him to seeing that actually there was a few other people intrigued also. So it went from his line of questioning to being intrigued and kind of taking the mick with his questioning, to then just taking the pee and trying to get responses from the other people who were interested. However, the other people who were genuinely intrigued, they were actually asking questions, and that really, really ground on him. And then this one day, I blew his little world apart. And this is a prime example of it for each and every one of you. You will get people like this. He said, in front of everyone, he says, okay then, if the spirit world are real, then prove it was right now. And I says, I think you're missing the point, mate. And he went, oh, what's that? I says, I don't have to prove nothing to you. Whether you believe in the spirit world or not is not my problem. I'm not here as a performing monkey, and I'm certainly not here to appease you. And his face just dropped. Because in those moments he thought, well, actually, hang on, like, he's got a point. And that's the way my attitude is now with people who are like that with me. I don't know if it's because I've had that many times it's happened to us, or if it's just I've got sick of just people thinking I'm here as some sort of party trick. I'm here to help the everyday person, the people to help themselves. I get that. And I also get that people are going to be intrigued by the things that I do. That being said, there's got to be a level of respect, or even just a little minute morsel of just compassion. I'm not doing this to you know what I'm saying. It is what it is. But be mindful for them sorts of people. Don't let them get under your skin. Be prepared for it. Not everyone's going to be like that. And I know I've given you a horror story there, and I've told you that, and you're probably thinking, oh, what if somebody does that to me? Don't worry about it. Let spirit speak through you. Put them in the place. Instantly squash it. But coming back to the relationships, I find it very, very difficult in a relationship setting because of that. I find it very difficult to be able to settle down in a relationship, because I always know what's coming around the corner. It's never going to be just a case of, do you want to go for food? Do you want to go and do this? Do you want to go and do that? It's a case of, when can you tell me this? I would, and straight away, in the back of your mind, instantly, you know that you are being used. You know, it's common sense. It's a logical way of thinking. It's not because this... Anyway, just be careful, because when you do come into mediumship, right, if you're already in a relationship, right, and you are embarking on this journey, then it's not really a problem. Your loved one, your fiancé, your partner is probably just going to be more intrigued if you're getting information and stuff. That's not a problem. That's good. But when you are trained and you can prove what you do, when you can bring forward evidence for fun, my friends, it's not just as simple as what it might be now. It becomes very, very difficult, because everyone sees you is some sort of like what they can get out of you. And the problem is with that, especially if you're wise to it, it becomes very, very, very frustrating, to say the least, because it's expected. It's going to happen at some point. Somebody's just going to bring you and try, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't end well for them, to be fair. It doesn't end well for them. It doesn't bother me, but it doesn't end well for them. Right. The next thing, I'm going to try and speed up a bit, because I know I've taken a lot of your time. 1 hour and 7 minutes I've been chattering away. The next thing I think you are going to struggle with, if I'm completely honest and frank with you, is going to be being ready for spirit. A lot of you are already worrying about this now. How will I know if I'm with spirit? How will I know if I'm connected? How will I know? Right, stop. If you are with spirit, all you have to do is think of them. By putting the fear and by making yourself sick and worried, or the spirit world going to show, the spirit world are already there. Listen, they don't go. It's not like they need to come from planet Zong all the way down to planet Earth to come and speak with you. They're already on planet Earth. Like, we coexist with energy. They're already here. The second you think of a loved one, they are there in those moments. Fun fact, a lot of you have been led to this channel by your loved ones. They've got you onto my channel. A lot of you will be like, oh, Jordan, I just found your channel, and you never guess what? It was like just everything that I needed to know. Yeah, it's not a surprise. It's because you've been led to me. You've been led to this message. Your loved ones are like that. Yay, round of applause. Because now you are getting the education that you need. Now you are getting the understandings that are going to propel you into your mediumship development. Now you are going to become the best version of yourself. But it doesn't matter how much we help. Doesn't matter how much we show. A lot of you are going to fall into the dilemma of, rather than trust in spirit and knowing they're there, which comes in with your tutoring, by the way, and comes in with the mediumship classes, instead of trusting that the spirit world are there, and instead of trusting the spirit world to be able to speak through you, you think about, what if? What if they're not there? What if they're wrong? What if I look stupid? What if they don't believe me? Can you see how I'm thinking about the what ifs? You don't work with what ifs, my friend. You've got a good understanding. You've found this channel. Forget about the what ifs. The what ifs are what are going to padlock your ability to connect You don't think about what ifs. We need that confidence. We need that understanding. Let the understanding drive your confidence. You are getting the building blocks to be able to sustain your mediumship journey, your adventure. Use it with grace. Know that you are good enough. Know that the spirit world are going to be there each and every second. Of course they're going to be. The spirit world are there. You're going to be communicating for a loved one. They are going to be there. You need to know that in your jiggly bones. You need to know that in your heart. And if there's one thing that I've learned from working with the spirit world, is every reading is unpredictable. It's meant to be. It's not for you. Unless it is for you, spirit are saying. But it's generally, most of the times when you're doing a reading, it's going to be for somebody else. And they're always unpredictable. And what you've got to remember is it comes into your core foundations. If you are ready and prepared, and you know that the spirit world are going to be there, regardless, it doesn't matter how unpredictable they become. It doesn't matter what person you have sat in front of you. If you know that the spirit world are there and they're always going to be there for you. I've seen these mad notions, right? And it really, really annoys me and spirit. Sorry, the energy got really intense there. It really annoys me and spirit when you hear the spirit world aren't here today. Spirit world have took a vacation. The spirit world takes 7 weeks to get from the human form to the spirit world. If you've heard anyone say any of those things, stop listening. It is an instant transition from the materialistic plane into the energy realm. It's instant. It doesn't matter how you took it, you know. A lot of the times, right? A lot of the times people think when people have taken their own lives or something along them lines that they don't go to heaven. They do. They bloody well do. Don't be so silly. They go straight to heaven. I say heaven. There's no such thing as heaven. I shouldn't be saying heaven, spirit or saying, but there's no such thing as heaven. There's just a universal energy. You will call it heaven, but it's just energy. Every soul is instantly transitioned back over to the energy realm. But yeah, I mean, it can be quite difficult for a lot of you to believe that the spirit world are going to be with you. And let's be completely honest. Why do you think it is? Why do you think it is that you don't believe that the spirit world are going to be there with you? I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because you've been led to believe you aren't good enough. You could never be good enough. Why would the spirit world work with you? You aren't capable. You don't have the skills. You don't have the gifts. You haven't done the course. That's all man-made. That's all man-made conditioning. That's all man-made suppression tactics to stop you from reaching your full potential. Each and every one of you have the abilities to connect to the spirit world on a mediumistic level. You all have it. Each and every one of you are watching the channel because you are going to make it. It is my mission to make you the best version of yourself. It is my goal to ensure that each and every one of you connect to your loved ones. But for me to be able to achieve my part in this, you need to be able to fulfill your part in this. You've got to start believing that you are worthy. The spirit world love you. They adore you. And by knowing this now and listening to these words, it's going to help you to concrete and cement that unionship with the spirit world. It's going to help you through the troubling times because you're going to know that they're there. They want to help you. They are like your best friend in the materialistic, except even a best friend wants something in return. A relationship, a friendship, it's a two-way commitment. Spirit world, it's a one-way street. They don't want anything from you. They just want to see you do your best to become the best version of yourself. The next thing I'm going to mention is if you are a medium, into any one of you, right, who come into mediumship and say, I don't think you should charge for mediumship because you should just be a caring soul. Right, let me just put you straight in your place there. That is your ego speaking. You are telling yourself that You as a person are going to be helping mankind, and mankind shouldn't pay for the services that you're offering. No, that's not how the way materialistic world works. Every service comes with a cost. To any one of you who think mediumship should be free, I mean, I question you, like, how do you pay your bills? Why is it that a medium should put years and years of time into investing in making sure that their clairsenses are refined to be able to become the perfect, or even the most perfect that they could possibly be, vessels to the spirit world for spiritual communication, and not get paid? I'm sorry, mediums have to sustain their own living. That being said, I believe readings should be based on evidence. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a secret here. I've done readings for a long time now. My readings are sold out. Like, literally, they're always sold out, right? My accountant always takes people on, and I say I don't want any more, and they just take them on anyway, right? And I get it. You know, it's one of those things. My readings, right? Let us just tell you a little bit about my readings. My readings, first of all, I'm not offering them as a service on here. Please don't ask us. My ideologies are to help you to be able to help yourself. The people who have already got readings booked through, they weren't accepted by me. It was me accountant who done it, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to do them now. And I'll then probably just come away from doing them, and I'll tell you the reason why. Readings give you temporary satisfaction. They will tell you information you need to know in those moments. They also create a dependency. When you come to somebody like me and you have your little world rocked and your socks blown apart, you want to know more. Therefore, you're going to come back to me. You're going to spend more money with me. I'm not interested in that. Listen, I could literally, right? I could leave my job tomorrow and I could make a fortune doing what I do. I'm not interested. I'm more than happy with the lifestyle I've got, doing things the way that I do them. I enjoy it. But if I was to turn around tomorrow and say I'm just going to become a medium full time, because for those of you who don't know, I'm not a full time medium. I haven't got the time to commit to become a full time medium. I do me readings. I do all these different things. I do it whenever I want. I do me paranormal excursions whenever I want. I do whatever I want when I want. It's all on my terms. If I was to tomorrow say, right, okay, I'm going to open a shop. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I would triple my money. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I charge £120 reading, right? And that's for a 45-minute reading. Now, before anyone says, oh my God, you shouldn't charge that. Listen, my evidence speaks for me. My evidence, my ability to communicate on behalf of the spirit world speaks for me, right? In this life, we get what we pay for. And you will find this in mediumship. Now, I'm not saying that you should base mediumship, whether somebody's good, on their prices. I'm not saying that, right? But my prices work for me. My prices, I don't have anyone who doesn't want, everyone wants to come back. And I say no. And I mean that. Because I don't want to create a dependency. I do readings for people as and when the spirit world want us to. And unfortunately, sometimes when the accountants already book them, not being nasty though, keep me books right. But one of the things that you've got to realise is you have evidence. I bring forward evidence, clarity, direction. I can do all of those things. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. However, what you've got to watch out for is a lot of the time you are going to have people who will have £5 readings, £10 readings. Do you honestly believe the clarity and the detail you are going to get from their readings is going to be on par with mine? Well, I'm telling you now, it's not. I've seen these people. I've seen these practitioners. I've seen these individuals who offer mini readings, who offer these services. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, is it the price that I think is ridiculous? No, I think it's the fact that when people charge low amounts of money, it gives them a cop-out clause. For example, if you pay £20 for a reading, and that reading's absolutely atrocious, because you've only lost £20, the general mindset of mankind is to just dismiss it. Well, it is what it is. You know, they're just learning, they're doing this, they're doing that. When you can say to someone, I charge £120. And you can look them in the face and say, well, actually, you're going to get what you need. Who do you think has the most confidence in those moments? The person who's charging £20 or the person who charges 120? Now, it's not greed. It's blatant facts. It's because I can prove with evidence the words that I speak. I don't care who it's for. I can prove what I do. However, the person for the £20 in this example, they're going to be fluffing around the words. They're not going to be anywhere. And this is what you've got to remember. You've been desensitized to this. It's become normal to see £5 readings. And it's not all about the price. And I'm not putting anyone down who charges low prices. But what I'm saying is them people who put themselves down as low prices don't believe in themselves enough to charge those high rates. That's what I'm saying. And it's not about that ethos. It's not because they're a lovely person, because I'm a lovely person. Many other people are lovely people, but we still got to make livings. You know, your doctors are lovely people. They make a good salary. Police officers, they make a good salary. Soldiers, I think you can see where I'm going with this. So yes, when people tell you that they charge low because they're such a nice person, you'll find out very, very quick the difference between somebody likes of my reading in one of their readings. One other thing I'm going to mention as well. So that's something that you need to watch out for. If you are going to be doing readings, please, please don't fall into the category that most people do and say you don't charge people. Listen, everything in this life comes at an exchange. And you've got to pride yourself on that exchange. You've got to know. When I'm saying you're starting in mediumship, I'm not saying, because remember, what you're charging for, you are charging for the service. So if you have clarity, direction and purpose, then you charge. If you are learning mediumship, then obviously don't charge people. But what I will say to you is when somebody says to you, they don't charge because they're a nice person. No. The reason why people won't charge in mediumship, for example, somebody might have done mediumship for 20 years and they've never once charged. I would argue that you aren't medium. And I'm going to tell you the reason why, and I know you're not going to like it. You could have been a practitioner for all of those years, but because you've never charged, no one's actually ever told you if you are good or bad. Put it this way, right? Go back to the scenario of the £20 where you've paid £20 for a reading, right? That reading went south, wasn't very good. But it's £20. You're probably not that fussed. You're probably not going to want to upset the person in the same instance. If it's a free reading, you're probably just going to go on your merry way. How many times have you had a bad reading that was free and kicked off? None of you would have. Why would you? It's free. Let the person just do what they want. It's a nice little thing. Tell them they're great, and that's the problem. A lot of you will tell them they're good, even though they're bad. So shame on you. You need to start telling people when they're bad. And I know that sounds nasty, but it's the way to help people learn. But coming back to it, right? You've got the free reading. You've got the £20 reading. Then you've got the £120 reading, right? If you had a £120 reading and it was wrong, how many of you would kick the hell off? You would bring the walls down, wouldn't you? Well, that's the thing. No one ever does for me. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because I bring clarity, direction and purpose to the readings. And that's where the difference is with confidence, right? When you know what you're doing, you can do and charge whatever you want. And that's not something for a lot of you to look at and go, oh, well, that's a great business scheme. Because yes, you could potentially make a lot of money from it, but you've got to have the clarity, direction and purpose is the point I'm making. You can't just charge any rates and claim to be something you're not. You'll quickly get found out. Coming back to the people who believe that they're practitioners, the mediums, fully fledged, world-renowned mediums, and they've never charged anyone. What does that tell you about their confidence? Ask yourself the question now that I've explained it. And if you are that one person, don't take offense. But it's clear to see that whilst you work alongside of the spirit world, you fail to embrace the person that you are. You fail to embrace the abilities that you have refined. When you start charging someone and then they say you're wrong, that's when you become a medium. That's when you start learning. Not when you get loads of fake yeses. Oh, yeah, it was such a good reading, Sheila. Oh, Sheila's amazing. She can read for me anytime. Of course she can. She's probably a nice person. She's probably nice to sit around. But that's not what we are offering. That's not a service. That is just being nice. We are wanting to help people to be able to help themselves, to bring that clarity, direction and purpose to mankind. So yes, remember, it's not always about the money, right? This shouldn't be about money. But what you've got to remember is you've got to sell yourself as a person. You've got to embrace the abilities that you have and that you have refined. You have to know that when you start taking payments, you're going to quickly find out, my friends, if you're wrong. That's when you're going to learn. I would recommend all of you, once you've learned how to become it, once you've learned to do mediumship readings and you're bringing forward evidence, charge. Immediately start charging. Because there's so many people who don't come out of their comfort zone. They'll just do readings for free for the rest of their life because they like the idea of being a medium, but they don't want any of the other, they don't want people saying the bad, so they'll never ever charge. And I get it, and I'm not laughing at them. I'm just laughing because I can see how it can be a very easy trap for a lot of people to fall into, which is a shame because, there's a lot more potential to them than that. The last thing that I'm going to mention as well, obviously, if you are a medium, being a medium, you've got to kind of look for finances in very different ways. If you are a full-time medium, you can't just rely on mediumship readings. You need to think of different services you as a person can offer. Again, mediumship, I'm not going to lie to you, I've always got people that want to come to me. Literally, but for me, I want to help the everyday person to be able to help themselves. So for myself, my cash revenue is from courses. Like if I was making money, a lot of my cash would come from doing one-to-one tutoring, helping people to be able to learn how to do mediumship, helping people how to learn tarot, all of these different things. Not naturally just the readings, whereas a lot of you would think, oh, readings are just to be all and end all. There's so much more to mediumship. There's so much more that you can help other people. There's so much more, especially when you're doing it right. Like, so for me, I enjoy helping people a lot more than giving readings. To be honest, I say it all the time, right? Readings to me bore the living daylights out of us because I'm just giving the information on behalf of spirit, and I'm helping the person heal, but am I helping them? In the back of my mind, I'm like, yes, I'm telling them what they need to know now. Yes, I'm opening a new door to them, but I could be helping them in a different way, and that's why it never really sits right with us just doing readings. But yes, mediumship readings, you can't really fully rely on them. Whilst sometimes when you get to when you get into a state where you've always got people coming for readings, if you were that one person, then you're always going to have money coming in. But you might be somebody who, you don't have readings, and so you can't fully rely on it. The point I'm trying to make is right, is don't treat mediumship like a business. Treat it as you need to treat it to sustain your own longevity, your own life, your own finances. But try not to put the emphasis on mediumship to make it the money. Try to do it as kind of, not a side hustle, because it needs to be more than that. It's going to take a lot more time than that. But I just wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket with mediumship because it is such a volatile, not everyone needs healing, not every minute of every day. So you need to be smart. You need to think about ways of making it work for you. For myself, it's an easy fix because I hate doing readings anyway. It's boring. So for me, naturally doing one-to-one tutoring and courses and doing soul guidance and spiritual coaching and all of these different things, that's more along my line. In that there is more sustainable than just doing readings. So yeah, always think about that. And the last thing I'm going to bring to your attention is going to be just burnout in general. I know we mentioned it earlier on about your energy, But it is really important when you do start working alongside of the spirit world to ensure that you are keeping on top of your health. I'm not saying that you need to eat special foods. I'm not saying that. I mean, you should always have a balanced diet, but I don't. I've probably never in my lifetime, I've never drunk holy water. I'd probably melt. I'm only joking. Spirit will laughing at that one. I wouldn't melt, don't worry. But there's loads of different things, right? There's loads of different cloaks that you can buy and special salts and all of these different things. The main thing that you need to remind yourself of is, listen, you're a human being. Don't buy into all of these notions that mankind are going to sell you. All of these different things that are going to make you connect, make you be a medium, because they're not. You are going to become a medium when the time is right, when you have the right understandings, when you have put the hard work, the determination, the willpower, and the effort into it.